Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe, and well, let me go ahead and bring in my guest here, Ryan Halpert. What's going on, Ryan?
What's up, Dave? How you doing today?
I'm fantastic, my friends. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. We are now officially. Ryan has been back. I was a couple of days behind him coming out of Austin. And man, we just finished up an amazing mastermind event. I know you mentioned it on the show this week. Um, just for those who weren't there, what was your overall impression and takeaway from the event?
Oh, it was one of the best events we've ever done. It just being in a room with the caliber of people that are there, the guests and the speakers and our team. It's a level of energy you can't find anywhere else. It's an experience you can't really get anywhere else. It's not something you can get at a sporting event or some kind of another show. It's a very specifically curated sort of really just high value environment that just can't be duplicated anywhere else. So it's as ridiculous as it may sound, it's almost impossible to describe how incredible the experience really is.
Yeah, man, it's something that we hope that you really think about coming to next time. Our next mastermind is going to be September in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. And so we really hope to see you all there. It is a life-changing experience. We're going to be dropping tidbits here to tease you in between now and September to come to the mastermind, of course. But it's like no other. Some of you were at the mastermind, and we're going to be sending out some emails here today and leading up and into the weekend about some of the things we talked about at the mastermind and some of the deadlines on some of those pieces as well. So be looking out for your for information, communication in your email if you were at the mastermind with us. We're going to get in this morning to some value, and we're going to talk about value here. We've got another handout for you all this morning. And we are going to go back and forth, Ryan and I, sort of talking about 4 or 5, definitions of value. So you guys can kind of understand what value is. We've got a PDF handout we'll give to you here either throughout or at the end of the episode. But Ryan, why do you think that this is an important topic for us to talk about? And then we'll jump into the actual, what examples of what value is.
Yeah, it's a question that I get all the time. I think it's something that is kind of hard to understand if it's not explained to you. People say share value, create value, be valuable in your content, but what does that really mean, right? What's the definition of that? What does it look like? How do you create it? And it's something that I had a hard time understanding. I didn't understand for a while, right? I had it taught to me, but I didn't really get it for a while. So, and still, today working with new marketers and new members that come through, they do have a hard time with this. And I see a lot of content out there, especially from new marketers, that just doesn't have any value. It's more or less a hook and a call to action, right? And there's not any value in the middle. There's not any. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to just throw this discussion out there today. So that way we can get this PDF out there and just hopefully everybody who's in here can just level up their content and level up even their offers, their lead magnet. It's applicable to a lot of things you do in marketing, right? It's applicable to your lead magnet. It's applicable to your content. The value equation or the value sort of how you create it, the process doesn't change depending on what you're looking to do. Create a product, create a lead magnet, create content. It's all the same.
Excuse me while I blow my nose here real quick.
Oh, bro, I got the same thing going on, man. I've been congested for days.
Well, when you come out and you mingle with a bunch of human beings, you're always bound to leave with a few germs.
Yeah.
So let's jump into this, friends. This is important because many of you don't know what value is, right? You hear this word thrown around, so we want to give you some definitions, and we believe there's 5 here that we're going to go over with you. We're also going to give you this this PDF. I'll start the first one, and then Ryan can take two. Educational value. Actually, let me take one and two. Educational and entertaining. I mean, to simplify things, this is why we call content inside of our education edutainment, because a combination of educational and entertaining content is what is always the most popular content. I mean, you could have entertaining content that's not educational and it crushes. You could have educational content that's not entertaining. It does okay. You put those two together where somebody's entertained and they learn something, and it's that recipe for success when it comes to content, especially short form content on the internet. And that just really means that no matter what your niche is, you have an opportunity to share something. And you can do that through, stories. You can do that through actually teaching something. This morning, we're just straight teaching something, but you can tell a story. You can, you can give an analogy or a metaphor. There's lots of different ways to teach something in an entertaining way. The other way to add entertainment to your education is just to be yourself. Look at us. I mean, a little more animated, a little more excited. Be excited about what you're teaching. That can be entertaining as well. Right? You want to take 3 and 4?
Yeah, definitely. So you've got the inspirational piece and then the practical piece, right? So the inspirational is going to be, like when you see, like, I guess the visual example of it would be like when you see a celebrity talking about something and they put that kind of slow music behind it to really get you immersed into what they're saying. It would be that inspirational. That would be the visual representation of it. But really what it's doing is it's kind of motivating you in a sense, right? It's shifting your perspectives on things. It's encouraging you to do something different from what you're doing right now, right? It's kind of like that get off your ass and let's go type of messaging, sort of almost thought-provoking or invoking emotion in the sense where, right, I don't want you to stay content with what you're doing now. I want you to feel that fire to keep moving and doing something, right? That would be, in my opinion, right, the inspirational type of content. So if my goal is to make somebody feel motivated and make somebody feel excited about something again, or maybe for the first time, I would create something inspirational. I would share that inspirational sort of value. And that could be a story of, how maybe I've got some days, I do have some days where I'm just like, you feel a little burnt out sometimes and you're just like, and then, something can come through my phone or something can come through and it's just like snap of a finger, kind of motivates you, gets you up and get you going. Right. And that's my goal with that piece of content. That would be inspirational value. Then you got the practical value, which is more of a, like, here, I'm going to physically give you something. Right. That's like your lead magnets. That's your templates. That's like this PDF. This is practical value. This is something we're going to give you that you can open, you can have, that you can look at. And that's, more of it's a resource. Right. And then it can be immediately used to start getting something right now. So you could take this PDF, start using these value definitions here in your content, and immediately start getting results by having more value, right? And the result there would be that you have more valuable content. The result would be that you're struggling less with creating content that has value in it, right? Or creating lead magnets or creating anything else like an offer that has value in it. That would be the immediate result that you would get. So this is like a form of practical value.
I think that people, this whole inspirational value piece, we overlook this a lot because we feel goofy or corny trying to be inspirational, but you don't really realize that nowadays inspirational content is really relatable content, right? That's why when people say, honestly, this fits, relatable content is sort of a new catchphrase. It's a new buzzword that content creators are using. Relatable mom content, relatable, work from home, content. Mostly it's just relatable, meaning that they're making an extra special effort to not add any sort of production to it and just literally show you kind of the real raw, what camera people and actors always tried to cover up in the past, which is you filming content in your house with a dirty countertop or a pile of laundry behind you. I know content creators nowadays who specifically sit down in front of their bed, which has laundry on it, in order to come across more relatable. Remember, friends, marketing is a manufactured image. That is what marketing is. Relatable content or practical value or inspirational value or even emotional value nowadays comes across as that is one example of it. And you could probably find all 5 of these in a lot of these videos that somebody's really just filming from home with a mess in the background. It'd be like me, kind of like I do on this show. Honestly, my countertop behind me was messy as shit for a long time. I was embarrassed by it. And many of you know that I'm even in this seat because my house got flooded, and my office on the first floor of my home is gutted right now, and it's being rebuilt. And so for the last few months, I've been, just kind of sitting wherever, not in my normal spot. But not trying to hide things, not trying to make it look better than it is. Now I'm building back a set. I'm building back a place to go film because I want that, but also just not being afraid to film. I'm a normal person with Lysol and a tank top that I just took off and threw on my shirt here before the live stream. It's like. I've got cords on the floor here because I just grabbed cords and pulled them out from the countertop behind there to try to make that look a little less. Relatable content is practical content, is inspirational content, and the more that you can learn to be yourself and not worry about looking perfect, honestly, the more inspirational it'll be. Nowadays in 2025, that's not true in 1983 when I was born. In 1983, commercials, marketing, everything was fake. Actors, right? I was watching this documentary on O.J. Simpson on Netflix that just came out. Good documentary, and it was just showing all the different ads he was in. If you ran some of those ads today, we would laugh at them. It'd just be like, this is corny, right? So understanding that relatable content is inspirational content. And guys, you don't have to particularly come across as a motivational speaker in order to share something inspirational. Sharing your struggle. One of the things that I learned was that when I share my struggle, I'm sharing a strength. When I share my mess, I'm sharing a message. So I can share I can be vulnerable. That is inspirational. It doesn't mean, I think a lot of us think that inspirational content means I got to be driving in a Lamborghini, living in a mansion, on a yacht. That's not inspirational in 2020. What is it, 5? That's not inspirational. The only thing that's inspirational in 2025. That is still cool, but it is not the only thing that's inspirational. As a matter of fact, right now, I would say more popular is relatable content where where you're just showing your house, you're filming in front of your laundry piles. There's none of the flash and trash. Inspiration is not about material things particularly anymore. It's not the only way to inspire people. There's lots of ways to do it. Just sharing content is inspirational as well, because people see you, and especially if you're vulnerable, in some ways, right? This is not an online diary, but there's ways to be inspirational by being vulnerable. For example, I've been telling my drug addiction and recovery story for many years. That is an example of sharing something that would perceive by most business owners as, woo, let's sweep that old pal right under the rug. We don't want to be talking about that. I found a way to make that mess a message. And that's inspirational. So you all already have inspirational value inside of you. I wanted to add that. Last but not least, emotional value. I just talked about this. Relatable experiences, authenticity, and empathy. It's constantly reminding your audience that you know what it's like to be in their shoes. Okay, that's what's most important when it comes to emotional value. It's constantly letting them know. It's never talking down. It's never trying to sound better than. It's letting them know that you've been where they're at. This is a huge part of building rapport in copy. I learned this through copywriting, Ryan, where we had to type it out on a sales letter on a page. Now, these aren't as popular anymore because, attention spans are so short that reading a 12-page sales letter is not as common anymore, right? It needs to be, but in some way, shape, or form, in all of our videos, we do that, and so it still gets done. But anyways, man, what did I miss? What do you want to add to these five?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you hammered those really, really well. I mean, there's anything I would try to add to that would just add unnecessary confusion. You did a hell of a job there on those. I mean, really just taking everything you just said exactly the way, and just taking that and just implementing it is breakthrough type of information. So that was huge.
Well, this, I mean, a lot of you thought that it ended there. It actually continues. There is, Ryan, do you want to link out in the comments to this so they can also have it? We've also given you 4 different components of value that we care about as marketers. Okay. And you can go over this. You can read this. This is really important and powerful information. What are your thoughts on this next section? And is there any important parts that you want to point out from this as we're giving this document to people in this kind of lower second section?
Yeah, the thing I would point out here is when we talk about value, not only in the form of offers, but in the form of content even as well, is that a lot of times there's only focus on the outcome. There's only focus on here's what you're going to get, and let me just make this as great as possible. When really there's the 3 other pieces that you can, these pieces are all kind of adjustable in a sense, right? So, right, we could talk about how, $1 million is better than $100, right? But, when you talk to somebody about earning $1 million versus earning $100, which one do they feel like they're more likely to achieve, right? So if we're talking about how, they can earn more money in a sense, right? This is just an example, but they can earn more money, and we're saying they can earn $1 million. They're probably going to, in most cases, most people are going to feel like, well, I can't earn $1 million, but I feel like I can get 100, right? So there's going to be more value and that's an extreme example, but there's going to be more value in the offer teaching them how to make 100 because that feels more achievable. They don't feel like they're going to waste their time trying to do something never going to be successful at because they never even come close to the other thing. Right. But they might know people or they might have done themselves, right? Made an extra 100 on the side, right? Or an extra, whatever. Now, I'm not saying to use dollar amounts in all your marketing. Maybe I should have used a better example there. But there's other elements of value than just the outcome, right? It's the likelihood they're going to achieve the outcome, but then also people care about how long it's going to take and how hard it's going to be.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be really, really hard and take a really long time, even if the outcome's better, that's not going to be as valuable, right? They're not going to perceive that as valuable. So it's something that you can adjust, right? So if it's going to take, if it's going to take, let's use a weight loss example. Let's say if it's going to take 100 to lose 100 pounds, it's going to take 12 months, right? Well, it would actually probably be more valuable to divide that by 52 and say, I'll help you lose 2 pounds a week. Because now they're getting a result in a week, which is a hell of a lot less time than a year. And even though it's a much smaller number, it's a more realistic number. They feel like they can achieve that. So now you've got a more valuable offer without even actually changing anything other than the way you packaged it.
Yeah.
And my point is that you're not changing the offer in a sense. You're just changing the way you present and package it for the people you're advertising it to make it as valuable as possible using these four components.
I love that, man. And we're right here kind of talking about do they believe they will succeed? This is something that's so huge for so many of us out here creating content. Does what you're presenting to them seem ridiculous and unrealistic, or does the outcome feel achievable? If they perceive the outcome to be very achievable, then what you are offering will be more valuable to them. How do you make something achievable? Talk about how you did it. Talk about how someone did it. Share success stories from people who got the outcome you're advertising. In many cases, this is huge. The lesser outcome will be more valuable as it's perceived as more achievable. And again, just to kind of piggyback on your example there in the make money online niche, which, I've been working in for 15 years. So many of us, we come online, we think that we have to have huge financial results and then show those in order to attract people. And sometimes, or a lot of times, talking about helping somebody make their first dollar is more powerful than talking about helping somebody have $10,000 months. Let me say that again for all of you who were just kind of listening passively. See, the problem with a show is that it's free. And so sometimes you don't pay attention to what you don't pay for. Don't make that mistake. There's actual nuggets being dropped right now that could change your entire business. Many of you are not giving this your all. You feel like an imposter. This is the solution to a lot of your mindset issues right here. And it's that you think, even if you're in the weight loss niche, you compare yourself to the bodybuilder with a 12-pack ab, and you say, my results aren't good enough to be of value to somebody. I need to have those results. Similar to in the make money online niche, you compare yourself to somebody your age or somebody that you saw that you think you're alike, and you begin comparing. You must think you're alike because you compare yourself to them and feel bad because you don't have the same results that they have. This solves that problem, because now you don't have to put all that pressure on yourself to help somebody to become a bodybuilder, help somebody to become a millionaire. That's not what even people want. They really most people want to get started. They're afraid to start. They're not even thinking about the ultimate outcome. They haven't even made it that far. You are. You're thinking about that. They're not. They're just thinking about getting started. They're just afraid to get on the dance floor. They don't even know what they're going to do when they get there. They're just afraid to walk on to the dance floor. So you got to simplify those pieces, make them more achievable. That was huge. Anything else you want to point out from the rest of the PDF in terms of how long it will take to get the outcome, or how hard is it going to be? These are things that we would want to be talking keeping in mind when we're creating content, because this is what people are thinking about when they're listening to our videos.
Yeah, I mean, just you hit the nail on the head there too as well. So it's just keeping in mind that these four components are the ones that you want to be considering. You'll notice this now when you're looking at content. It's the ones you want to be considering when you're making your hooks, and especially making your call to actions, right? And then the value piece, which is in the middle, right, that we talked about just before, the delivery, right, the actual transformational piece, that's essentially your product, right? When we're talking about in terms of content, you could think of that like the product, right? So a lot of these four components, they are you make your content and your offer and your business more valuable as a whole by keeping these four components in mind, and then just continuing to maybe adjust them a little bit in the way that you present your offers and present your videos and create your headlines. The when you use these elements, this is where you're going to be testing, right? So when you craft a headline that you want to put on a sales page, for instance, or put at the top of a video, right? You can try that for a certain amount of time, but if you decide, you know what, I think I need to change something about this, maybe what you change in that instance is the outcome that you're offering, maybe the likelihood they're going to get it, right? Maybe you're talking about too big of a result, maybe you dial it back. Maybe you dial it back so you can give it to them in less time, right? So, and you'll start to see these. You'll start to see there's those infamous side hustle videos that we've all seen and we're all familiar with, right? Which they're kind of phased out now. I don't really see too many people making them anymore. They just don't pop up on the feed, and when I search for them, all the ones I find are old. So, right, but somebody will say, "Here's how you can, you can make." Or here's 7 remote jobs that'll pay you $100,000 a year, and they'll hire anybody, right? It's like, well, it's not super realistic, right? At first impression, but the other elements are really, really good, right? It's a great amount of income, right? It's a low effort. I don't have to try too hard to get the job because they'll hire anybody. It's also remote, so I want that. That's a great outcome, right? That's why those videos would get so many views, because you had these incredible value propositions that, even though a lot of them, right, we know to not really be real, there's these incredible value propositions at the very beginning that would get people's attention and get them to stay there. And they were things that a lot of people wanted, right? So it was kind of, it wasn't the that people wanted to just learn about side hustles or get lists of remote jobs. It was that value proposition, the way it was packaged and presented at the beginning, that made it very valuable, made the information valuable. Because I could come in and just say, here's 7 remote jobs, right? But that's not nowhere near as interesting as, here's 7 remote jobs that will hire people with no degree and pay 6-figure salaries, right? Now you've got a little bit more of my attention. Now I'm paying more attention because it's more value. It's a better value proposition. So again, you can infinitely adjust. Now, maybe that headline never worked, right? Maybe that headline didn't work. So how would you adjust the elements, right? I might say, here's 7 remote jobs that pay 50 grand a year, and they'll hire entry level employees, right? So now I'm using a little bit more of a specific description of who it's applicable to, but I also lowered the, right? I also lowered the, because maybe 100 grand felt like, well, that's not real. Nobody's going to hire me and pay me that much as an entry level person. But now you used a more realistic number, so there might be more value in it. It's something you have to test, right? Ultimately, it's something you test and trial. So any one of these, you can almost think of them as like an adjustable, right? You can just kind of adjust any one of these in the way that you present what you're talking about without really changing the offer at all. Hopefully that makes sense.
I mean, the way to do that is, I mean, you can still take that headline and you can make it seem and feel more realistic, which is 10 virtual jobs that could pay you up to 6 figures while working. The key words there, could. You have to learn how to use language to your advantage and not promise something that's not going to happen. And also not do it the old, what I call the old content banana in the tailpipe, right? Where it's like, it's basic clickbait. It's all over the internet. It's not just in our industry or our niche of online marketing. It's all over the internet, and it pisses anybody off when they click something that is, that seems like it's going to be, life changing or whatever, and then it ends up not being. Or, I mean, that's not a good practice in any industry, if you're creating content about any topic. And so, for example, this style of video where people are talking about ways to make money online and sharing that content is something that we've been doing successfully for 15 years on the internet. It's just about setting proper expectations. It's about using hooks and headlines that are benefit driven, and also create curiosity within the customer, whether that's a headline or a hook. A hook is the first couple of words you say in a video. And then when you begin to teach something, it's always going to be about the results that they can get. So they always care about the outcome. I almost have a firm belief that, there's a lot of people who want to make money online. If you told them to stand on their head for 10 hours a day, um, and do jumping jacks at the top of every hour, they would try. Like, people don't really care how they get the outcome, just as long as they get the outcome. Look at some of the crazy stuff that people do out there for, for weight loss, or for, to bulk up, putting all kinds of different stuff in our bodies. And, we do a lot of crazy things. Women, my God, I give you all the credit in the world. Some of the things you do to be beautiful, walk around in heels. It's unbelievable. Women began as people started saying, "Hey, you look just as beautiful in those flats as you do in those heels," and they're like, "Hey, well, maybe I'll have just as much impact with less pain." Right? It's like the same thing is true in marketing of every topic. It's like, I can still get you excited at the idea, if I'm in the make money online niche, of making your first dollar. That can even still be my headline or my hook. I don't have to say, "Hey, here's 5 remote jobs that are going to help you make 6 figures." I could say, "Hey, here's 6 remote jobs that could help you earn your first dollar online." And it would be just as powerful. Could even be more powerful. And so, for all of you who are struggling to create content, um, Kim said them heels are dangerous, though. They sure are. They sure are, especially on stage. And for me too. I mean, cowboy boots on stage are not much safer, because I was up there tripping and dipping myself. But many of you could really change the impact of your marketing by slightly adjusting some of the content that you were creating that was working, or that you are creating now that's not working as well. By just simply taking a look at this, Ryan, drop the link one more time in the comments. By grabbing and downloading this PDF and studying it, re-listening to this episode, if any of it wasn't clear, because this is a big deal. This is the things that we talked about here are a big deal. And I guarantee with some of you, it's just a slight 2mm tweak to where you are now, again, creating the same content you've been creating with slight tweaks to the outcomes you're talking about. For example, many of you don't think you can do, these sort of how to make money online videos. I don't want to call them side hustles, because that's a new term. It's a buzz term, and But these are ways to make money online videos, right? It's what we've always called them: make money online videos, business opportunity videos, things of that nature. And you can create those all day long without being hypey or misleading. We've been doing it in this industry for 15 years. It's instead of saying, hey, here's how to make $1 million or six figures, or thinking you need to have some big result. It's about talking about and focusing on with your customers, them getting started in every single niche. Ryan, the people who are going to buy the most are always going to be the new people, dude. It's never going to be the people who are already getting results that want to take it to the next level. It's always people who have a hard time getting started. I guarantee you that, and I'll give you a great example of this. Go to any gym, and I guarantee you, I don't have data to back this up, but I will be willing to put money on it, that the majority of signups for training sessions are new clients, new beginner people.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably correct. Everybody on the internet's a beginner is something I've always kind of thought of. I've always liked to say is that, everybody on the internet's a beginner, and that's when the person gets the most excited. That's when because a lot of people, they get to the struggle. There's not more people who are struggling looking for more, because most people get to that struggle and then they quit no matter what it is. Right? When working out gets, I started a workout plan as a New Year's resolution back in like 2023, and I quit. Right? And I made it maybe 2 weeks. Right? I quit. I says, I don't really want the outcome that bad anymore because this sucks. So I stopped doing it. So, but yeah, no, if I was some bodybuilder, I was some, already really fit person that was very well versed in it, then I wouldn't be struggling so much. I'd just do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So know your audience, folks. Know who you're talking to, right? You're not talking to so many of you are putting so much pressure on yourself to talk to some advanced audience. Do you think you're talking to some advanced audience? You're not talking to an advanced audience. You're talking to newbies in whatever niche you're in. The other thing is that, I was talking about this at the event. We got this on film. We'll be sharing more content about this, but it's like a lot of you older people are like, think that you're talking to other older people. You're not. You should be creating inspirational content for younger people. At least mixing that in. I guarantee you that'll do better than trying to talk to other older people who are more skeptical. Get younger people involved on your post. This is what I would have done differently at 20. Those type of posts. 5 lessons I would have shared with myself when I was 18. Those type of posts. I mean, there's tons of examples out there. There's tons of examples. My point is that mixing in these different types of value in a more practical way, instead of trying to be fancy. What's the most valuable thing in community? It's older people sharing, passing knowledge, wisdom down to younger people. You guys have the opportunity to be able to do that right now. You're not doing it. That's the kind of practical approach where you mix in the entertainment, the education, the inspiration, the practical tips. Everybody's out here teaching our younger generations, including myself, a lot of complicated things about life. When you older generations know simple things about life, share those. Share those. Watch your engagement grow. Watch your inspiration to other people grow. Watch people start sending you messages. Hey, I wish I had, a mentor like you. I wish I had somebody in my life like you who, right? Be creative. Stop overcomplicating it. It's the same thing you would do in regular society. If you were going to church or you were going to something, you might look at a younger person and say, and try to create a mentorship dynamic, or you're an older authority or an elder. What would you do? You would look out for, you would share a piece of wisdom. Do that on the internet. That's how you take what seems to be complicated about marketing and simplify it. And hopefully this worksheet today was helpful for you. Ryan, as always, you're a legend, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. Happy to be here. And hopefully everybody here got something huge out of this.
Gold nuggets, brother. Platinum boulders you're dumping off in people's driveways. We will catch you later inside of the Blueprint support call, and potentially back out on Wake Up Legendary tomorrow again, brother. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. I'll catch you later.
See ya. All right, my friends, as always, thank you to Ryan. He's incredibly helpful and talented. And Sean, we're glad that they really get you thinking, my friend. And thanks for being here. Let us know if you guys have any questions. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Yes, CJ, the older affiliate, has a huge younger following because of this. That's a great example. Thanks for dropping that. CJ, we love CJ. You can look him up. CJ, the older affiliate, definitely embodies what we're talking about, speaking to more of the youth in a practical, inspirational way, right? That brings emotional value, brings know, like, and trust factor. Great example. Thanks, Bonnie. All right, my friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode of Wake Up Legendary. You can, if you're new, go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll, legendarymarketer.com/enroll. And we will also drop that right here in the comments for you as well. And you can start your education. Okay. You can take one of our challenges. We've got a marketing challenge and a confidence challenge. And you can take you can jump headfirst into our blueprints. You could come to a future mastermind. These are the things that we offer here. And we're launching a private coaching program with me, as well as we have accountability mentorship available. If any of that interests you, you can email me directly, and we'll even give you a free accountability coaching call and give you information and talk to you about our programs, answer questions, and give you value. Even if none of our additional programs are right for you, we'll make sure that you leave the call with more value than you came with and more clarity than you came with. If you want a free accountability coaching call, you can email me directly at dave@legendarymarketer.com. Just say, I want a free accountability coaching call. I'll see you in the inbox. I'll see you on the internet, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode of Wake Up Legendary. Get out of here, my friends. Peace, peace, peace.